What I have come to discover through my self-awareness and through my observation is that a lot of people are seeking approval from the outside world instead of improving. And it's because we determine our worth based on what other people think of us, and we discard what we think of ourselves. And this is how we get intertwined in low self esteem and also not knowing our worth. When most people think they do, when it's really just self loathing. But we'll get into what I mean by that. So, in today's video, I want to share with you how to stop seeking other people's approval and start improving instead. And the best thing is, I'm going to share with you the human perspective of this and the spiritual perspective. So we're going to go in depth and we're going to see the physicality on the surface of how this all intertwines so you can start making the shifts of knowing your worth, but also knowing that you're not here to be liked or loved. Beautiful beings, welcome back, AwakenOnes, on another episode on Embracing Ascension series with your homegirl Brittany Fontanez. If you're new to this channel, so glad to have you here. And if you've been on this channel with me so far, gang, what's going on, boo? So grateful that you trust me on your journey. I am an energetic activator, spiritual guide, help to assist you with your emotional and spiritual awareness. And if you want to know anything about my services, readings I give out, my healing course, and my merch, all the information is down in the description box below. So you guys, let's get right into this video because I'm excited to talk about 4 ways of how to stop seeking approval and instead start improving, and to help you with the human versus spiritual perspective of this. We're not just looking at the surface level, we're looking at the in-depth level, because here's the thing. What we go through and what makes up who we are is because of what we have experienced and what we have been taught through our experience. So it's always an in and out game, you guys. And everything I'm sharing with you today, let's be real here, because they're always real and vulnerable on this channel. A lot of people like to make themselves a victim towards their predicaments and circumstances, hence why they seek videos just like this to help them know their self-worth. But on today's video, I'm not going to only teach you how to understand and develop your self-worth and to build your self-esteem, but you have to understand it is your responsibility to know your signature energy and exude the energy you want to receive from the outer world. Because here's the thing, you guys, like I said, we have our own signature energy. This is the spiritual perspective. And since we have our own signature energy that makes up our ego, our physicality, our emotionality, and our spirituality, and our mentality, we have to understand that when it comes to knowing our signature energy, we have to honor it. We have to honor ourselves by discovering ourselves and stop comparing who we are to other people and thinking that everyone outside of us has a better opinion of who we are than ourselves. Because here's the thing. Only you walk in your shoes. There will never be another like you. God will never make another like you. So you gotta learn to be and love you. And I want to share with you on how to do that in this video. But also do it from a state of not an ego perspective, the human perspective, but more of a self-awareness with compassion perspective. So let's get into it. The first, I'm gonna computer because homegirl can never remember what she must talk about. So let's get into the first way on how to stop seeking approval and learn how to prove instead. And that is, here's a big one when it comes to people who are always seeking approval. You need a consistent ego boost. Before we get into the first step, let's take a drink of water because, you gotta stay hydrated, boo-boo. So, the first way on how to stop seeking approval and improve instead is consistent ego boosting. Now, this is the awareness part that we have to be aware of, is that the reason why we seek approval from others is because we need a consistent ego boost. Always talking about yourself and never listening. And this is how you need to stop seeking approval is by learning how to listen rather than always be the center of attention. Because let's go real deep. The reason why people need a consistent ego boost is because deep down, let's be real, deep down, it's really self-loathing. Now, this is what I said in the beginning. What is self-loathing? Self-loathing is someone who praises themselves on the outside, but really hates themselves on the inside. And because of this, it's just insecurities that need addressing. And this is how you stop seeking approval, by addressing those insecurities without needing to be the center of attention. Because the only reason why you want to be a center of attention, the only reason why you have so many stories you consistently repeat about the past and the things you have done, is because you don't know how to listen to yourself. Majority of us, on the human perspective, are always needing to seek validation as if that makes them worthy of existing, of being heard or being listened to. But let's look at the spiritual perspective. That really stems from believing that no one sees you. So you have to try to get attention. And it only comes from inner child wounds, which I'll leave a video on how to heal inner child wounds. It's like, maybe at a young age you were neglected, you weren't given attention the way that you needed it, that love, that reassurance, that being noticed, that you matter. So you seek it in ways that only fulfilling the ego but not really fulfilling the heart. So the way how to stop seek approval from the outside world is address those insecurities. Why is it that you always need to talk about yourself? Why is it that you always need a consistent ego boost of people approving of your work or supporting what it is that you're interested as a passion? Address those insecurities, and majority of us don't like to. This is why we talk so much, so we don't have to listen to our thoughts, so we don't have to go within the chaos of the racing of the mind. But the thing is, we have to learn to listen to ourselves. We have to learn to listen to others, but it first takes questioning, why is it that you don't really love yourself without needing consistent approval from the outside world? Why is it that you can't do it for yourself? Why is it that you need people to listen to you? Why is it that you think your self-worth is determined on what the outer world thinks of you? Those are some deep questions that you need to ask yourself. And that is the first step on how to stop seeking approval and start improving instead. Listen, we're learning how to stop being victims and being victors, but we got to take responsibility for the things we put ourselves through, because this is where we get into the second one of how to stop seeking approval and learning how to prove instead. And that is consistent judgment, but inability to take criticism. This is a big one that I've experienced through myself and through other people, and still to this day, I see it everywhere I go. Is that people are always consistently judging to the point they're bullies, but when someone points the finger at them and triggers them, they are unable to be mature enough to look in the mirror and recognize. Hold on, you guys. I'm just reading so I can stay on track. They're unable to acknowledge themselves and to acknowledge what needs to change about not being able to take criticism. Because here's the thing, you guys. When we're always consistently judging, that is like us trying to bond in like toxic ways to connect with other people, so we can feel like we resonate with them, so we could feel like we're seen. Do you know how many times in my life I knew I was the smartest person in the room, but I still choose to lower my standards, lower myself so I could get along and fit in? And I still see it to this day for people that I loved and dearly. And they always say too, I know I'm intelligent, but I choose to be stupid because I just want to connect with people. It's such a disservice to yourself. And let's get into the spiritual perspective. The reason why you do this, you may do this, or you see other people do this, is because deep down you don't know how to be alone. And what does alone have to do with how a consistent judging but inability to take criticism? Is because people who lack seeing themselves in the mirror are not able to allow people to see through them. So if you're not willing to see through yourself, and if someone sees right through you, oh, you're the one to blame. You're the one to be put on the spot. You're the villain. But yet when they're always consistently judging, they think they're right. And creates a toxic cycle of neglecting self and inability to connect to the world in an authentic, healthy way. If you recognize the reason why we have judgment upon this planet and why there's so much gossip is because that's how some people bond. And I'm not that type of person to do that, you know? Like for me, I go out with my girl because she knows so much people. And I accept that. I accept her different friend groups and all that. But she always consistently thinks I'm socially awkward because I don't go right away and talk to them. But here's the thing, you guys. I'm not the type to seek attention. I'm not the type to start a conversation if I don't feel like someone wants to talk to me. You know what I mean? I'm not the type to go out and try to start a conversation. Can I do that? Do I want to do that? When I feel like it. It's really up to me. But I know that the way on how to stop seeking approval from others is stop judging them. Stop judging people because you're judging yourself, and start seeing, why is it that when someone sees right through your bullshit and that hurts you, is because you lack acknowledging what needs to change within you in order to know your worth. See, you know what's crazy? When I go out and I'm silent and I'm just listening, I don't judge, I accept. And when people start pointing things out about me, I question. I'll be like, do I do that? Is that me? I already know people. Everyone in this world is going to have a different perspective of you. But the way of how I've been able to stop seeking approval is by how to stop judging myself, how to stop judging others, learning the criticism of what I need to acknowledge to change within myself and to build my self-esteem, and recognizing I don't need to be loved or liked. And for some reason, that exudes an energy of attractiveness to the point I end up being the center of attention. It's the weirdest thing I've ever experienced, especially now that I'm more in depth on my journey and discovering myself and knowing who I am. It doesn't faze me of trying to fit in. It doesn't faze me of being a judger. It doesn't faze me when people criticize me, because here's the thing. I know I can always evolve and grow and learn by not always needing to think that I know it all. So that is the second way of how to stop seeking approval and improve instead. Now let's get into the third one. Now the way to how to stop seeking approval and learning how to improve instead is healthy self-dialogue and no need for opinions. Now here's the thing. I am not the type to take unsolicited advice or give unsolicited advice anymore, unless I really ask for it. And what I mean by unsolicited advice is that people who just think that what they know, you need to know because they're right, especially older adults. They're like, I've been here for 52 years. And my dad said that to me before. And I was like, yeah, I know a 12-year-old who's a millionaire. So I'm pretty sure he knows more than you. Please do keep giving me unsolicited advice like I never heard it before. Of course, he didn't like that because it triggered him. I am an activator, meaning I activate people energetically, inspirationally, or for you to grow the fuck up. That's just who I is. And I'm a Capricorn, you guys. I've been able to see the ins and out of being the villain and being the victor, being someone who's loving and being someone people hate. So this is why I'm able to share this with you. Now, what I mean by healthy self-dialogue, this is the most important thing we need to keep evolving into, because self-love is an everyday motherfucking job, you guys. It's an everyday damn job. And it's a job that's all you really need to do. Because when you love yourself and that aura of your heart expands, then bro, that's how everything is attracted to you. And that's how you receive everything without chasing it. So healthy self-dialogue helps on how to stop seeking approval from others and not seek their opinion. And the way to do this, and the reason why you need to do this, is because you wake up with you, you go to bed with you, and you feed you, you clothe you, you shit with you, you shower with you. You get my point. And no one's going to understand you the way that you do. And when you try to seek opinions from other people, all your mind is going to do is bounce off different people's projections of you, to the point you're going to feel a discord within your heart, because your mind is agreeing with what people are saying, but your heart is being like, no, they don't know who I am. But you're trying to make people understand you when that is your job. So the way to how to stop seeking approval and start proving instead is healthy self-dialogue. Now, I'm not saying this shit is easy, because it's not. I go through it every day. In my love relationship, in my family dynamics, in my friendships, everywhere I go. It's hard for me to have healthy self-dialogue. But the way I have been able to shift and get out of that quicker now is not by recognizing my blessings of who I am, because that's where we seek that ego boost, but in a more compassionate way, is that what is it that I need right now that I feel like it doesn't make me feel like I'm enough? What is it that I'm feeling right now that makes me believe I am not worthy or deserving of what it is I'm trying to create in my life? What is the reason of why I'm hating on that girl, knowing that she looks good and I'm thinking she's a hoe? Why is it that I'm thinking that way? It's very important to understand that healthy self-dialogue doesn't mean you're saying I'm beautiful, I'm worthy. It's really about discovering, why is it that you feel hurt? Why is it that you feel like that person's better than you? And learning to sit with that emotion and be the friend that yourself needs. And here's the thing. I know a lot of people in my life that always compliment me, and I know how to take a compliment. But when I give them a compliment, they'll be like, no, that's not true. No. That's where you have to recognize how to develop healthy self-dialogue is by first recognizing your insecurities, recognizing your low self-esteem, recognizing where it comes from, the stories that happened in your life that created the experience to make you believe in that. And start developing ways of not only seeing your outer beauty, but seeing your inner beauty. Not what makes Brittany beautiful, not what makes you beautiful on the outside or a beautiful person, but what makes you so fucking unique that you're proud to be. And finding ways to go within those layers of your shadow and bringing out the light beyond it and behind it at that. So healthy self-dialogue is what will help you how to stop seeking approval and start improving your self-worth. Now, the last and final one. Now, this one is, let's see if people understand it, but I was told to share this, is how to stop seeking approval and instead improve instead. And the way to do this is stop thinking you know it all and listen more. Now, what does this have to do with stop seeking approval? Is because when we think we're always right, we're always talking. And I've learned from a mentor a very long time ago, is that someone who talks so much and think they know it all are unable to learn. And that is called a fool. A fool thinks they know it all because they're unable to learn more. While a wise person thinks they know nothing because they're willing to learn it all. That's pretty deep. And I will take that to my freaking grave. And the reason why I feel this is important on how to stop seeking approval from others is because when you think you're right and you think you know it all, you will get really disappointed in others. You will get really disappointed in the fact that you didn't get that reassurance. You didn't receive that love from that person you were trying to prove yourself to. It's a double-edged sword. It's really you being a people pleaser, and I'll leave a video up here on how to stop being a people pleaser. It's you trying to be a people pleaser and being inauthentic. Because when we try to be someone that we're not, we're going to attract people who are wearing a mask too. So we have to understand how to learn to be vulnerable. People who think they know it all are controllers. And here's the thing, on the spiritual end of this, people who are controlling are fearful. And what happens when we're radiating the energy of fear is that we react rather than act. And this is where we don't think before we speak. And it's very important to want to be open to learning. Because this has nothing to do with thinking that, oh, I know what's best for this person. I know the right way to do this. When we do this, we're really pushing people away. And when we do this, we're radiating a sense of desperation. And this is not the goal, you guys. The real goal is, the reason why you gotta listen more is because you can listen and acknowledge what's going on within you and help yourself. And then you'll be able to radiate that compassion to others who may need it to better themselves. And then you'll be able to understand the earth and the world on a deeper level, to the point that you can understand how to operate within this world through compassion, through humility, through a healthy mechanisms, rather than judgment, rather than seeking an ego boost, rather than always stating your opinion, and honestly having unhealthy self-dialogue. So you guys, the way to be able to how to stop seeking approval in this last step is that when you learn to listen more, you will hear an inner voice that's always going to guide you into not always being the bigger person, but being the wise person. And you'll be able to learn from your experience. Because when you think you know it all, you lack learning the lessons you need to learn in order to get to the next level of your human consciousness. And it's very important that we're evolving and ascending, because we're not under this earth just to be stagnant and remain the same. We're on this earth to develop and see the potentiality that lies within us, beyond the fear, beyond the ego, beyond the judgment, beyond the hatred. And when we can do this, we will recognize that who we used to be is not who we really want to be. And that is a person who is always people-pleasing, codependent on opinions, and always seeking approval. And that's not what we're here for. We're not here to be loved or liked. We're here to discover who we are and make sure that is known in the world. Not in the sake of people trying to pay attention to you through social media, through getting all subscribers and followers. No. That's not the goal here. The goal here is for you, like I said, to discover yourself and exude that energy out to help the world feel inspired by your existence. That was deep. And that's what you're here for. You're not here to be of this world. You're here to create a new one within it while you discover yourself through learning from your experiences, by the pain that you've been caused by, and learning how to turn that pain into wisdom. So you guys, that's all I wanted to share with you today on how to stop seeking approval and learning how to prove instead the human and spiritual perspective of this. And like I said, I have all these videos that learn how to stop being a people pleaser, learning inner child wounds, how to heal them, how to heal even the mother and fatherly wound. You guys, it all stems from childhood. The way that makes up our personality today is what we have learned from our childhood. And when we can make the shifts into getting out of being a child and living those past experiences and learning how to be an adult and raising your level of consciousness, this will serve you on a bigger level. Because when you become self-aware, you become aware of this world. And the favorite quote that I want to leave you guys from my favorite, I don't want to say guru, I want to say teacher, is knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength, but mastering yourself is true power. And that is the goal here. So other than that, you guys, I really hope this served you. And if you feel like it served you, please share this video, because we're here to uplift one another. Because we are AwakenOnes, and together we rise. Until then, I'll see you on the next one.